I certainly don't think there's anything inherently wrong with deception. I don't think honesty is always the best policy. For example, if you go into the hospital, you don't say, "Grandma, you'll look worse than you did yesterday." So there are some times when dishonesty is exactly what the particular moment calls for. I also watch a lot of YouTube documentaries about animals in Africa, and I see that almost every animal lives because of deception. Deception is a part of their survival mechanism and seems to be a part of the structure of the world itself. However, I do feel strongly that it is my responsibility as a magician to inform my audience very quickly in my shows that that I don't have any special powers. In fact, not having special powers is the one thing that my spiritual tradition requires of me as a magician. I can't use magic to try to prove to somebody that I have some superhuman powers or some powers that I have access to that they don't have access to. One of the things that I do in all the shows that I do is I tell my audience that I'm a member of the Society of American Magicians and I'm a member of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, and in both cases I show my membership card and I show that I had to sign a pledge on both cards promising that I wouldn't reveal the secrets of magic to anybody. So the question that I say to the audience is if a magician is not allowed to tell how their tricks are done, then how did I learn? Did somebody break the rule? And the answer is no. If somebody comes over to me and says, "How'd you do that?" I don't reveal it. But if somebody comes over to me and says, "I would like to be a student of magic," then I feel that not only am I allowed to tell them, but I have a responsibility to teach them and for me to be their teacher. I say to my audiences that I would hope that if anybody in the audience knows how any of what I'm about to do is done, that they will keep it to themselves and keep it within the brotherhood. But that if anybody doesn't know and wants to find out, I invite you after the show to come up and get my email, and I would promise you that if you want to be my student, I would be happy to be your teacher. But I again want to stress that I always feel that it is my obligation to say to the audience that I have no special powers. I can think of a couple of cases that are relevant. One, I did a magic show. I did my show called Searching for God in a Magic Shop at a weekend retreat. It was a Saturday night that I did the show, and one of the things I did was an ESP trick where I read a volunteer's mind, 4 different ESP symbols. It's a simple trick, anybody can do it. But the next morning at breakfast, this woman, who by the way was a PhD in chemistry, insisted to me that I had ESP and read her mind. I said to her, no, it was just a trick. And she said, absolutely not. You read my mind, and I couldn't convince her otherwise. I was also on an airplane one evening, and I was sitting next to a woman who started a conversation with me, and I happened to have the invisible deck with me. And I said to her, think of a card and imagine that it's the other way. And when I then took out the deck and showed her card was the only one, she said to me, "You're a holy man." And I said, "No, this was just a trick." And she said, "No, this wasn't a trick. You're a holy man." So I feel strongly that it's important whenever we can to try to tell people that we're not holy men. We have no special powers. What we have done is we've learned something, and what we've learned is a nice way to entertain people and to teach people. The core idea of my magic interest is that every magic trick works the same way. How does it work? The audience does not see everything. Because the audience doesn't see everything, I'm able to do a magic trick. And that's the way of the world. We don't see everything. And that's why we don't understand a lot of what goes on in this world of ours. The one thing I cannot be a deceiver about is that I'm honored to be part of something that Jeff McBride and Abby Spinner and Larry Haas and Eugene Berger are a part of, 4 greatest teachers of magic in the world. Thank you.